Welcome to the Josh Dupuis Football Podcast. Here's your host, Josh Dupuis.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 1 of the Josh Dupuis Football Podcast. I'm Josh Dupuis, and I'm extremely excited to finally get this show going. Joining me for episode number 1 is a fellow journalist, Mike Hugall. What's up, Mike?
Not too much, Josh. Thanks for having me on here. Going to have some fun talking a little bit about the NFL and some playoff races.
Sounds good. Also, behind the glass, we have our producer, Justin Prince. Say hello, Justin.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Now, you can reach us in 3 different ways. First, on Twitter, at the JDFP. Second, by email, thejdfp@gmail.com. And third, by commenting to this video right here on YouTube, where we also kindly ask you to hit that like button and subscribe. Our goal is to do a podcast every week covering what matters from news, projections, weekly picks, and much more. Later, we will discuss our projections for the NFC playoff seeding and tell you who will win their games this week. But first, let's get into some news of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
Yes, sir, it's time for your news headlines. First off, Johnny Manziel made his first meaningful appearance of the season on Sunday. The Browns, though, have decided to go with Brian Hoyer to start off this week when they play the Indianapolis Colts. In your opinion, guys, is this a mistake?
Absolutely. And this is an absolute mistake. The Cleveland Browns are in one of the toughest divisions in football. And I'm not saying that talent-wise. I'm saying that look at the standings. There's a logjam. A lot of teams have 7-8 wins. You look at just the competition between the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati's leading that division right now. And Johnny Manziel proved in the game against Buffalo in those dying minutes that he is their go-to guy. I mean, the fact that he had the guts to go downfield, go attack the middle of that Buffalo Bills secondary, and you saw his touchdown run. He has some skill and he has the smarts. I think that his off-field issues in college are kind of past him now. And Brian Hoyer, although he's been efficient throwing for over 3,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, I think Manziel's the go-to guy.
My heart agrees with you, but I think my mind, my brain, the big part of me, is saying I would go with Hoyer just because of, not even because I think he's better, because I don't think he's better. I think Manziel, his career will be a better career than Hoyer, but I pulled this one stat off of the internet going, the Browns have used 20 different starting quarterbacks since the franchise returned to Cleveland in 1999, the most in the NFL at that time. Of those 20, Brian Hoyer is the only one with a winning record of 10-5. It's just like, I know he's not doing anything outstanding by any means, but I feel like he's done enough to at least finish out the season. He gets 7-5, you know.
And I can respect that, and I understand where you're coming with this. But the fact of the matter is that Cleveland is not out of a playoff hunt. And if you think Brian Hoyer is the guy to bring them to that next level, he's done a great job. Mm-hmm. Great, starting block. Did not have Josh Gordon for the first 11 weeks of the season. So, he's done well with the weapons he has. Andrew Hawkins has stepped up phenomenally, 718 yards with 2 touchdowns. But Johnny Manziel is that guy. Just the way he plays with that aggression and that tenacity, that's something that the Cleveland Browns need to have. So, I can see where you're coming with this. I still think Johnny Manziel's the guy.
And like I said, my heart agrees with you. I feel like I want Manziel. I think every viewer wants to see Manziel play.
I think so.
All right, what do we got next?
All right, our next news headline involves Adrian Peterson. Peterson said in his piece in his appeal hearing on Tuesday, as he is claiming the NFL did not act in a way consistent with the CBA's due process. He says he was told that at the time he spent on the exempt list, that time would count as his time served for his suspension. One of the people he says he talked to was the NFL's Executive Vice President of Football Operations, Troy Vincent, who will testify today. Actually, tomorrow, I should say. Now, will Adrian Peterson play this season? What's your opinions?
Well, first, Mike Zimmer said that if he is activated, he will play him. So it's just a matter of if what they say with Troy Vincent, if he says basically Adrian Peterson says that Troy Vincent told him that all of it would count towards his suspension type thing. And if that's true, if he did have that conversation with him and Troy Vincent says that, then I think there's a good chance that Adrian Peterson could play at the end of the season.
Adrian Peterson was suspended all of the season. However, he was paid. He was paid as he was suspended. And you know what? Even if they decide to bring him back, that's guff. That's what it is. That's crap. You have to. He is still making millions and millions of dollars for essentially what? Abusing his kid?
Yeah, I don't agree that he should play.
I don't think he will play. I don't agree. I don't think Troy Vincent testimony will do anything for this Adrian Peterson case. He will be back in 2015, but I think it's all but lost here. The Vikings are out of the hunt. I don't think it would benefit Minnesota if he played. I don't think that it would benefit the case for Roger Goodell as commissioner if he played. So I think Adrian Peterson is he's a no-go. On a side note, Ray Rice will be back. I guarantee it. This
season, you think?
I think so. Yeah.
I think Ray Rice won't, but that's another topic.
That is another topic. What do you?
I think that what Ray Rice did was. I don't even want to say.
No, you don't have to. I'm not going to compare the two incidents. However, just with the way how it's been appealed, I mean, I think that Ray Rice has been more publicized, and there has been more of an apology given from his side of the things. It happened earlier. Or the accusations and the footage was released earlier than Adrian Peterson. So, everyone's kind of had a chance to digest it. And I think, there are 4 teams interested in signing Ray Rice right now. And the Cleveland Browns and the Indianapolis Colts being in that mix, and both teams are in a playoff hunt. So I think Ray Rice will be back in some facet for a team this season. However, Adrian Peterson, I don't see it. I don't think people have still gotten over the fact that, the top rusher for the past decade was in some sort of legal trouble,
especially with a child.
I mean,
that's what's hard.
And we're not debating the difference between domestic or child abuse and women.
I think the thing that helps Ray Rice the most out of it is that he ended up marrying her a week later after that whole situation happened. I think with her forgiveness kind of thing on it, I think it leaned it down a little bit in some people's eyes, where not my eyes, but in some people's eyes. What do we got next?
All right, so next up is Tyrann Mathieu of the Arizona Cardinals. He will be having surgery on his thumb and will be out for about 3 weeks, according to ESPN. Arizona has been getting killed with the injury bug this season, including players like Carson Palmer so far. In your opinion, guys, how badly does this hurt the Cardinals' playoff hopes?
If Tyrann Mathieu is supposed to miss 3 weeks, if he misses that 3 weeks, that's huge weeks. If you look into it, the Chiefs at the Rams and then versus the Seahawks, that's going to be tough for them to come into the playoffs. I still think they make a playoff spot, but a wild card, not the division.
They're going to finish this season 9-7. I have them losing the next 4 games. I really do. Kansas City is a team that wears down opponents defensively. And you look at Drew Stanton, Andre Ellington banged up now. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals survive. And then 3 divisional games, like you said, against St. Louis, Seattle, San Francisco, all teams that are more than capable of beating the Arizona Cardinals right now. Tyrann Mathieu has been a key role player in that defense, hasn't stood out to me, numbers wise. You have Rashad Johnson, 4 picks. You have Patrick Peterson, 2 interceptions as well. So I think that, not having the Honey Badger in the lineup hurts you, but even with him, I don't think they're even close to winning that division. But 9-7, they're going to finish out this season. So they'll be in in the hunt for a playoff spot.
Yeah. Well, if they're 9-7, I don't think they have a chance for a playoff spot, but I think I have them. Yeah, I have them 11-5 in the season. Just on pure the 49ers game at the end, I don't think it's going to matter to the 49ers because I don't think they really have a chance.
I see, and this is where me and you differ. The Niners have won 3 of their last 4 games, and going to give them the win this week against the Oakland Raiders. Jim Harbaugh is a good coach, and good coaches make adjustments. And I'm referring to the next game after Oakland against Seattle. Only losing 19-3. That was a defensive chess match. Obviously, you go up against the high-powered rushing attack and Marshawn Lynch. I think they beat the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think they're going to lose to San Diego the next week. And
So what would their record be? San Francisco's.
San Francisco's going to finish out this season 9-7 as well.
You think that? What about for me? It's if you're 9-7, I think the Cowboys. Well, maybe not December Cowboys with Romo, but I think they have a chance to. I guess this is all a topic we can talk about when we get to the seeding.
We can talk about this, when we get to the seedings.
Let's move on to
all
the
right,
next
sounds
story.
good.
All right, the next story involves Reggie Bush of the Detroit Lions as he's looking to be back in the lineup this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been inactive for 5 of the past 7 weeks due to his ankle injury. Do you think this is the piece the Lions need to get their offense going again?
You know what, Justin? This is the thing. And this is what I believe. I believe Joique Bell should be the every down back on that offense. I think Reggie Bush has just had too many injury problems, and you don't want to Javid Best him. You don't want to overwork him. I think he's a great third down back to have, second and long, catching passes out of the backfield. That is where Reggie Bush has felt most comfortable the past couple seasons with the Detroit Lions. I like what Joique Bell has brought to the team. So I'm going to say he's going to make an impact, but it's not going to be an every down impact. I think he's still going to lead the team in most rushing, receiving categories for, out of the backfield. But do I think it's going to affect the game against the Bucs? No, the Lions are going to beat the Bucs, plain and simple. But Reggie Bush is going to, it's not going to matter with or without Reggie Bush.
The crazy thing to me with Detroit is you come into the season and you think that it's going to be all offense and their defense is going to be the one struggling, and then it's the complete opposite. It's been all defense, just keeping teams low and their offense barely pushing out wins. I think I agree with you on the fact that Bell has earned the every down back.
I believe, yep.
And I think Bush maybe as a third down back on passing downs type thing, like throw him in there. Kind of he is a good change of pace back to switch it up between it. I think it can't hurt them. It can. I think it can only help them to have him back. But I don't see them being that much better with him than taking Joique Bell off the field isn't. Great.
And me and you are going to agree on this one.
Yeah.
And the Detroit offense, what is it? What is it essentially? Matthew Stafford throwing to Calvin Johnson. That's the way it's been.
Unless he's hurt, then it's Golden Tate.
Yeah, then it's Golden Tate. And Golden Tate stepped up huge. Yeah. And he's been able to take some pressure off of Calvin, especially with Calvin injured, banged up this past year. Putting up not Megatron numbers, but definitely picking up his game in the past couple weeks. You know what? I just think this offense is good. Are they good enough to win the division? No, because Green Bay is just that much better. However, this team will be in the playoff hunt. Whether or not they make it is, well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
All right, and so that wraps up all my news headlines. Now up here is the NFC playoff seedings. I'll kick it off to Josh. Josh?
All right, for me, playoff seedings, I got first place finishing 13-3. We got the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Going 12-4, we got the Eagles. Seahawks at 11-5. Saints at 8-8. Then we got Arizona at 11-5, and same with the Lions.
So we're talking NFC here. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start out in the NFC East. We got the like you said, we got the Eagles. We got the Cowboys. The Eagles sitting at 9-3 right now. I'm gonna say the Cowboys finish this season 9-7. They will lose versus Chicago. They gave up 119 rushing yards per game. And Matt Forte, with the way he's been, in that offense, you got to trust Matt Forte on this one. And Jay Cutler has been lackluster this season. He's got the offensive weapons. However, he's just not producing. This is a game where Brandon Marshall needs to step up and prove that he's not washed up. Only has a combined total of 80 yards receiving the past 2 weeks. Alshon Jeffrey has been the go-to guy, and Martellus Bennett getting some key targets late in games as well. So I like what Jay Cutler's doing with this offense right now. And you never thought you heard anybody say that.
No.
But I think the Chicago will steal one against the Cowboys. And then, the Cowboys 2-3 in the division. They got 2 out of the 3 left in the division, and then a game against the Colts. So I'm thinking Cowboys finish this season 9-7.
So who do you have?
I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning that division. I have the Eagles winning it at 12-4, and the only reason I'm saying they're going to lose the last game of the season is because they're going to have clinched the NFC East.
Oh, so you think they're going to beat the Seahawks and then beat the Cowboys?
Yep, I think the Eagles have not lost a game at home, and although Seattle has played some good football, they're going into Philly having beaten Dallas and Arizona, who are, in my opinion, they're not for real.
Mm-hmm, no.
Chip Kelly is instituting his offensive style from Oregon, and it's been effective with Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
Nick Foles, good quarterback. Mark Sanchez has just been that much better. He is that college-style quarterback that Chip Kelly's looking for, and it's transcended in the numbers throughout that offense. LaShawn McCoy, 1,000 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Jeremy Maclin, 1,000 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns. I mean, Sanchez, much the same as a Brian Hoyer-type quarterback. Is he good? No. Is he efficient? Yes, and that's what that's going to take for this Eagles offense to click.
I think with the Eagles offense, it's really all about Chip Kelly, and if he's kind of proven that he can put any quarterback in there and they'll have success. It just matters what their individual attributes, I guess, are. Like Foles was a little too slow when it came to like the read option and everything, so no one ever bit. So LaShawn McCoy was getting pounced on the entire time. Now that Sanchez has been in, it's opening up the holes and everything from, also with the return of all their offensive linemen coming back, of course. But
that the offensive line can't get enough credit. I mean, LaShawn McCoy getting the Galloping Gobbler Award during the Thanksgiving week. So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. That offensive line's been huge.
All right, so you have Eagles at 12-4. What else do you got?
I got the Cowboys finishing this season at 9-7. You know, you know what? This Cowboys team can only go as far as DeMarco Murray takes him. And that's so true, because not having Sean Lee this year has hurt. You know, not having a healthy front seven is killer. Morris Claiborne, you know, the DB from LSU, when they drafted him, they expected big things. He has not stepped up. Orlando Scandrick is in my opinion, a second-rate defensive back in this league. Do they have all the pieces? No. Is that offensive line great, and is DeMarco Murray great? Yes. But it's not enough for you to win the NFC East.
All right, so with the...
yeah, go for it.
You have Packers winning, I'm guessing?
Yes, Packers are going to win that division outright. And that's just the way it is. 13-3. Yep. The Lions are going to finish this season at 10-6. I have them beating Tampa Bay this week. I have them beating Minnesota, and then I have them losing the next 2 games to Chicago and Green Bay. That NFC North division, it is a tough one, and the Lions always play those teams tough. And you know, it's basically toss-ups. I don't think that the Lions defense is going to hold up. Obviously, they've been proven all year that they are one of the best at stuffing the run. Well, they're going to have to play against a Green Bay team with an all-around defense and an all-around team. And Jay Cutler is going to come alive against the Lions at home. So it's tough. You got some tough games in the schedule. So I have the Green Bay Packers winning that division. In the NFC South, oh my goodness, the Buccaneers are still in the playoff hunt and they're 2-10.
Yeah, it's
so that one's insane. A toss-up, but I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to run away with that one. Sorry,
just not to interrupt, but
for
the Lions, it's actually a very exciting end of the season. If they were to win out, if they beat the Bucs, the Vikings, and the Bears, they go into Green Bay where they're down a game, but because they already beat them, if they win that game, they win the division.
Yep,
even if they end up tied, they win the division, right? So
yeah, it's going to be.
I don't think they can, but
no, it's definitely going to be interesting, and this is definitely something that we're going to be looking for in the upcoming weeks. Do I think they can go into Lambeau Field and beat a hot Aaron Rodgers on the road? I'll be looking up to the skies and praying, but I think the Lions definitely have a shot to contend for the division. Will they win? No, because Green Bay is they're that good. You saw it against the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers torched that secondary. Darrelle Revis looked pedestrian. Brandon Browner looked pedestrian. Aaron Rodgers has the ability to be, he is, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the game today.
Yeah, I completely agree. I see the only way of them not winning the division is if we're wrong and Reggie Bush ends up being this huge factor to them out of nowhere kind of thing. And because that's the only way. You need to keep up with the Packers. Maybe their defense can stop them here and there because they do have that defensive line that can get the pressure on Rodgers, which has been – you see Rodgers step back against the Patriots, against the Eagles. No one was getting to Aaron Rodgers at all. So if they can get to him, it's close. But like I said, I don't see it happening.
So just to wrap up this, I'm going to go with the Eagles. I'm going to go with the Packers. I'm going to go with the Falcons. And I'm going to go with the Seahawks. And then my 2 wildcard teams, I'm going to go at 10-6. The Detroit Lions are going to get in there. And also, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers taking that last wildcard spot and outlasting the Arizona Cardinals. Both those teams, I believe, are going to end up at 9-7.
So then you would have first round of the playoffs. You would have Seattle playing San Francisco, the 3 and the 6.
Yep.
That's an exciting matchup.
You know, it's definitely, and you got to love the NFC West division and how competitive those games get.
I think we basically have, for the most part, we have the same. You said Saints, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we have the same.
Oh no, I said the Falcons.
Oh, you said the Falcons.
Yes, the Atlanta
let's
Falcons.
Talk about that then.
No worries about that one.
You have. So you think the Falcons? What's their record? Sorry.
Their record right now is 5-7. I think the Atlanta
Yeah.
Falcons are going to end up this season 8-8. They're gonna end up this season 8-8. I think this offense is clicking right now. I think that 8-8 is good enough to win this NFC South division. I think the New Orleans Saints that defense is trash. And Rob Ryan's a great defensive coordinator. Don't get me wrong, but you know the personnel just isn't there for Rob Ryan that takes the risk he does, sending the blitz. Steven Jackson just rushed for over 100 yards, so you gotta love the fact that he is in midseason form, being 39 years old. You have to love the fact that Matt Ryan is able to connect now with Julio Jones. Roddy White went out. Harry Douglas is going to be a big factor in that offense, and he has the ability. So I like what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. Matt Ryan is getting on pace. They beat an Arizona Cardinals team that was strong into this point, but so I think the Falcons are taking that division.
Yeah. See, to me, it all comes down to that Week 16 game against the Saints, the Falcons versus the Saints, because I think the Falcons are going to lose to the Packers.
Right.
They're going to beat. Actually, versus the Steelers, they could lose that too. But let's say for argument's sake, they beat the Steelers. It comes down to that Saints game, where if they win, they're undefeated in the division right now. The Falcons are 4-0 in the division.
Yep.
The Saints are 2-1. So just on tiebreakers alone, if they just both finish the same 8-8, the Falcons would win. But it will come down to in New Orleans for that.
I mean, let's take the Falcons into the Steelers game now. Hard to say this because I am a Pittsburgh Steeler guy, but they were exploited by Drew Brees, and Jimmy Graham didn't have a single target all game, yet the New Orleans Saints were still able to put up 35 points. The Pittsburgh Steelers, time in and time out, show that their defense is just lacking in some spots. This isn't the same team we were seeing in 2007, 2008.
No,
they're missing a lot of holes in that linebacking core. They're missing the secondary, and I swear to God, if I see Ike Taylor in the black and gold one more year, I'm gonna lose it. And that's just it. So I think you have the big playability of Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. That's going to torch the Steelers. So I'm taking the Falcons in that matchup as well. And then at New Orleans isn't for real. I don't think Drew Brees, great quarterback, great arm, has 54 straight consecutive games with a passing touchdown, which makes him one of the best quarterbacks in his own right, one of the best quarterbacks of this generation. Do I think it's enough to beat the Falcons with the weapons he has? No. So Falcons win the division at 8-8, and there you go.
Sounds good. All right, well, that'll do it for the seeding part. Let's go into some picks of the week.
All right.
So let's start off here with the Dallas versus Chicago game. We have Dallas favored in most places by -3.5. What say you?
What say me? I say Chicago and the points. The Chicago Bears, playing at Soldier Field is always the toughest thing to do. So I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears in this one. I think the Dallas defense gets exploited. And let's go Bears. How about you?
So you think Dallas is Chicago's gonna win, or Chicago's gonna cover the spread?
Chicago's gonna win plus the points.
Okay. See, this one was a hard one for me. Being the first one, it was hard just because you don't know what Tony Romo's going to come. Is he going to go back to the same Dallas Cowboys or December Cowboys quarterback that he's always been, making mistakes and everything? And you also have to think about it. They just played the Eagles on Thanksgiving, and they got destroyed. And all you heard from their locker room was, we can't wait to play the Eagles again. We can't wait to play the Eagles again. They have the Eagles next week, so maybe they're not even taking the Bears seriously. The Bears haven't beaten really anyone this year, right? They're probably looking ahead to their next meeting against that team. So I'm probably going to have to agree with you. I'd at least take the plus on that, take plus 3.5. But I'd probably have to say Chicago's going to win that too.
Yep. All right, so next matchup we have Pittsburgh at Cincinnati in an AFC North showdown. Josh, what do you think?
Pittsburgh is giving 3 points for that one. like you were talking about, their defense is just, it's hard. Cincinnati hasn't been doing too well. I'm going to have to go. I'm probably going to go the home team, Cincinnati. They're getting better. They're getting Giovanni Bernard back, probably more full this week. The last 2 weeks he's been in there just a little bit.
Yep.
They'll have him as a full-time running back this week. I think they're going to pull it out.
I think it's always tough, especially in the AFC North. I just love divisional matchups in football. You never know what you're going to expect. It's like Forrest Gump and his box of chocolates. But I'm going to have to take this, and this isn't a homer decision. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben threw for over 400 yards against that Saints defense. The Cincinnati Bengals are a team that, you're right, but they're much the same as the Detroit Lions team. What's that offense surrounded by? Surrounded by Andy Dalton and and AJ Green.
AJ Green, yeah.
So Gio Bernard back is going to be great. Is that going to make that much of a difference? No. So I'm going to say I'm going to take the Steelers on that one.
All right, next then we have the St. Louis Rams going to Washington Redskins, where the St. Louis on the road is actually favored by 3. What do you got?
I have the St. Louis Rams. St. Louis has been playing some great football. That front seven coming into the season was extremely hyped. They thought they've won some big games. Obviously, last week was a big win for them, absolutely decimating the Oakland Raiders. 52-0. The defense pitching a shutout. They've proven that they can play with the best teams in the league in the Seattle Seahawks, beating Seattle on the road, I might add, in on the 12th man. But and Washington is just not a good football team. The offense doesn't know what it's doing. I think Jay Gruden's a little power hungry in my opinion, but you won't see RG3 in a uniform, and that's a different topic for another time.
Yeah,
for a different time.
For sure. Yep. For me, I'm a big person when it comes to the line telling me something, and the fact that St. Louis is going into Washington and they're favored by 3. Usually the home team gets a 3-point bump automatically. And the fact that they're favored by 3 is telling me that if it was on a neutral field, they'd be favored by 6. So just that alone tells me St. Louis is going to win that game.
All right. Next up, we have the New York Giants. We're going to have the New York Giants at the Tennessee Titans. What do you think?
The Giants. I'm not picking the Giants, but the Giants are just funny to me. It's a pick. Favored for me would probably be the Titans, depending on. Do you know if Mettenberger is he?
No, he's done.
He's done, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the thing that kind of sways me one way. But I just feel like Eli Manning, if it's not a big game, even big games though, he's throwing things away. But
he definitely has the big play capability, and that's where I can see where you're going with this. I don't think that Tennessee has shown enough in their offense to even contend with the Giants.
No,
and that's just my that's just my thing.
That's very true. Yeah.
I mean, who is that running attack? That running attack is Bishop Sankey.
They just lost Justin Hunter for the season.
Sean Green is backing him up, and Sean Green is not the same dude he was in New York by any stretch of the means. No Justin Hunter, their third leading receiver, and you know what? Rashad Jennings is back. He is healthy. The just absolute dominant performances week in and week out by Odell Beckham Jr. And just proving that this rookie class of wide receivers is the best we've seen in 5 to 10 years. I'm going to go with the Giants on this one.
What bothers me about that is exactly what you said. Odell Beckham, every single time he gets thrown the ball, he does something with it. But yet, for some reason, the first half, the Giants threw to him constantly, and then the second half, they just forgot about him. So that's what scares me about him. I don't know what's going on with their organization. They've won some Super Bowls, but it feels like if they don't win a Super Bowl in a year, they have a terrible year. It's either Super Bowl or just terrible for them. So, but you swayed me for sure. When I realized Justin Hunter is out, Giants are going to win this game.
All right, what do we got on
next? We got the Carolina Panthers going to New Orleans, where New Orleans is favored by 9.5.
Wow. I'm going to take... If we're going with a spread, I'm going to take the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Panthers always play the division tough. And
the Saints haven't proven that they can beat anybody by 9.5 consistently.
No, not consistently. I'm going to go. I mean, obviously, not having D'Angelo Williams in the game hurts right now. We just Coach Ron Rivera was saying he had a broken bone in his foot earlier this week. So, Jonathan Stewart's going to lead that rushing attack. Cam Newton has been doing what he can, and you know what? It's been effective. You're going to see a big game from Kelvin Benjamin. I'm going to take the Saints, but Carolina's going to make it a close game. I'm going to go Saints by 3.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. I think Saints are going to edge out a win just by the fact of them having crowd noise on their side and the Panthers having no real offensive weapons. But I feel like the Saints just aren't performing to their potential at all this year.
No, definitely. And, you look at just the play. You're losing a rookie wide receiver in Brandon Cooks from Oregon State. But, I like what Kenny Stills has been able to do. He's been able to kind of step in and be that third target, much the same as, a guy like Dante Moncrief in Indianapolis. So I like the receiving core a little bit. Jimmy Graham's got to get some targets, and then they'll win by 10 for sure. Next up, I am going to go with the New York Jets at Minnesota. Jets. Jets, baby. I think, there have some identity issues on that offense that they're going to have to sort out. Geno Smith needs to be the quarterback. I like what Geno Smith is able to do in that offense. I don't think that, Michael Vick is ready. I think he's washed up. Ever since the scandal there, he hasn't performed well at all.
He had one season with the Eagles that he had good numbers, but like one season.
I don't think he's been the player that
not that he was
that he was, or even what the Eagles wanted him to be after that scandal there. So I'm gonna go with the New York Jets. Geno Smith at quarterback. Chris Johnson's gonna run for 80 yards and a touchdown. Jets win, baby.
I liked what the Jets did this week. They took the pressure off Geno Smith. I think they know that he needs to be eased into things a little bit more. Even though he's been in the league for a couple of years, he needs to be given a running game. He needs to have help from his defense. He's not the type of quarterback that's going to go out there and throw 40 times and win you the game type thing. So they ran a lot I think they should throw a little more than they did last game, but so we have Minnesota favored by 6 here.
Yep.
I'd probably go Jets to cover the points, but I think Minnesota's going to win the game. Bridgewater, he's been playing a lot better than they did when they started out the season. That's pretty much all I can say for that. It's just such a toilet bowl game.
And you look at kind of the offensive weapons on the Minnesota Vikings offense. You look at Jerick McKinnon and Matt Asiata, the dual running back threat there. I don't like. But I'm kind of seeing where Minnesota's going with this. I just think that the Jets, that Minnesota defense has proven, besides Everson Griffin, that they just can't play. Everson Griffin's been absolutely phenomenal, lighting up this league. One of the best defensive ends, defensive linemen besides J.J. Watt. So I'm gonna say the New York Jets. And but I can definitely see where you take Minnesota. You're at home.
Yeah.
The Jets have not been consistent at all. They've actually probably been one of the worst teams in the league, sitting at 2-10. So tied with basically in the basement with the Buccaneers and the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
But I got a feeling.
Yeah, I think it's just like I said. It's like the both those teams you can't trust on any week. I wouldn't advise betting too much on that game. Let's try to get a little quicker on these so we don't take up way too much time. We have the Ravens at the Dolphins, where we have the Dolphins favored by 3 points.
Ravens.
Agreed.
That's easy.
I agree, too. They're favored by 3 because they're the home team. So it tells me it's really a pick game if it was on a neutral field. I'd go Baltimore, too. I think their defense is playing better. Their offense is better than Miami's. Tannehill's proven that he cannot throw it down the field ever. Mike Wallace has all these catches, but they're all short catches. They're not using him to his best ability. So, yeah, I agree. Baltimore.
It's going Ravens.
Yeah, all right, we got Colts at the Browns. What do you got there with Brian Hoyer starting? I'm going to take the Colts. Favored by 3.5 Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts. I'm going to give the Colts. I'm going to give the Browns 10. I'm going to say the Colts win by 10. This is going to be a blowout game. Obviously, Trent Richardson going back to Cleveland, the team that shipped him. Yeah. So yeah. I like the Browns' rush defense. However, it's going to be a field day. You're going to have Joe Hayden lined up against T.Y. Hilton, but this is going to be a big game for Reggie Wayne, folks.
I agree with the Colts, and I'm going to go one step further. I think this is the game this is Brian Hoyer's last game with the Cleveland Browns. All right, we got next, then we have the Buccaneers at the Lions. I think that's pretty easy. I'm going Lions minus 9.5. I'll take the points too. The Buccaneers haven't proven that they can do anything besides pass it to their rookie there. That's
Mike
about
Evans,
it.
yeah.
That's about it.
Agreed. Lions 9.5.
All right, we got Texans at the Jaguars.
This one's interesting. And I always find myself when every Sunday morning when I'm at the convenience store playing my pro line, I always find myself wanting the Jacksonville Jaguars to pull off a win.
Like last week.
Well, like last week. You know what? They actually screwed me in my pro line. But I always go there, and I always feel a little bit of sympathy for Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the Texans, favored by 5.5. I don't think so. This is going to be a tie. This one could be an overtime game. I'll take the Texans, but I like the Texans by 2.5.
2.5, yeah. I can see about the same thing. I think J.J. Watt gets another touchdown because he's insanely good. That's another thing. We'll save this for next week, but we have to talk about MVP.
Absolutely.
Or tight end MVP. J.J. Watt, Aaron Rodgers. It's a good discussion to have. We'll save that for next week, though. Next, we got the Bills at the Broncos. Laugh out loud.
Denver favored by 10 in that game.
Yeah.
It's at Mile High. And unless Kyle Orton can
use the mustache,
yeah, I don't know. He looks very awkward in that haircut too. So I'm gonna go with the Denver Broncos with the 10 points.
I'll take the points too.
You know what? I'll say the Broncos by 20.
Yeah,
I'll say the Broncos by 20.
I can see it happen. They haven't been that great as of late, but home against the Bills have a good defense. It is possible that they could shut them down a little bit, but I think their offense is way too powered compared to the Bills. So I agree with you there. Chiefs at the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm going to take KC in this one. I like what Andy Reid does with this team. Alex Smith is a good quarterback. He's efficient. Jamal Charles is going to torch this Arizona defensive front. May not be just running right into the fire, into the trenches, but it's going to be a nice, 8 yards here, 7 yards there. That is Kansas City style football these days. Jamal Charles is going to go off for 15 fantasy points. So anyone in the playoff hunt, you're welcome. And yeah, so I'm going to take Kansas City.
I agree there too. With Arizona's only favored by -1, like I said earlier, with the line telling me something. Arizona's home and they're only favored by 1, so that's telling me that if the Chiefs were at home, they'd be favored by -5. So
right.
To me, really, the Cardinals, like we said earlier, losing all these key players to their defense, their offense. They don't. If they have Fitzgerald, maybe they have a little bit of a chance, but he hasn't even done anything.
No, that's
year,
been the Michael Floyd show in the receiving corps.
Exactly, and so yeah, I got Chiefs with you too.
All right, Seattle at Philly.
Being the homer that I am for the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm still gonna go with Seattle.
Wow, you're going Seattle. You're reading the line again. The Eagles only favored by 1 at home. Are you reading the line again?
I actually did not see that, but
nice.
It's just my gut feeling. They put so much into last week of beating the Dallas. There was talks through the locker room all week about we got to beat Dallas. We got to beat Dallas. We want Dallas. And in fact, the week before when the Eagles played the Titans, the fans in the beginning of the third quarter were all cheering, "We want Dallas." So it was such a huge game that it's just kind of like, even though it's Seattle, you have to get up and play against Seattle. Chip Kelly's record against good teams hasn't been that amazing either, and I think Seattle needs this win a lot more than Philadelphia does.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially in that NFC West with the way I predict a logjam. I think Seattle needs this win. I don't think Seattle's gonna get this win. I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I hope I'm wrong.
They rank 12th against the run, and Connor Barwin has 12.5 sacks on the year. So I think Philadelphia's got this in the bag. I'm gonna say Philly, -4.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
I'd sure love that to happen. I think that is the biggest key is Connor Barwin and just the defensive line in general. If they can get pressure on Russell Wilson, stop him from being able to roll out. And
because Russell Wilson, too, he's got no receivers in that group.
No, they got rid of Harvin. Now they have Baldwin, he's been okay. He hasn't, they have nobody spectacular, but they're leaning on Marshawn Lynch, and he's been banged up. There was a game a couple weeks ago. He couldn't even get out. He just laid down and slept on the bench at halftime. Didn't even go into the locker room. He's just banged up. It's not a good situation there, but I feel like in between two Dallas games, it's a scary game, and maybe I'm just scared as an Eagles fan, but
okay,
I hope you're right.
We're gonna go San Francisco at Oakland. Frisco favored by 8.5, but Justin Tuck said earlier today that this one is going to be a bloodbath. That is the way he described this game in Oakland. Does that change your opinion on this game? Do you think the Niners are going to win by 8.5?
It just makes me think that he thinks his own team's going to get very bloody, because I don't see the 49ers doing much but scoring touchdowns there. So I don't think the Raiders really have a chance to even come close. What have they done this year? They've got one win. Yeah, I'm going San Francisco, and I'll take those 8 points.
I'll take San Francisco. I'm not going to take the 8 points. I think they're going to win this game. You know what? This is a battle of California, and this has gone down in history as definitely one of the top matchups in football. I can't wait to see. Hopefully there's no news cameras that show up there, because there have been incidences between these two teams, fan bases, which resulted in a couple fatalities and a little bit of shanking going on. So I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. Not going to go with the 8.5. I'll say Frisco by 4.
All right, cool. Next we have New England Patriots at the San Diego Chargers. Patriots are favored by 3.5.
I am going to take San Diego.
Really?
I'm going to take San Diego. Although I think the New England Patriots are a very good football team, and if you don't think the Patriots are a good football team, go back on the bandwagon you came from. Look, this is a team that was torched by Aaron Rodgers. Phillip Rivers has all the offensive weapons on that receiving core. He's got Keenan Allen. He's got Malcolm Floyd. He's got Antonio Gates. He's got Eddie Royal, who shows up from time to time. Ryan Matthews is healthy. This San Diego offense is clicking right now. They just stole one from the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to go in New England and do the same.
I think something in your favor for that point is that teams that play such a big game the week before and then go into a game that I guess maybe not be as important,
right,
tend to not do so well, where the Patriots played the Green Bay Packers last week, and that was basically their Super Bowl, right? That could be the Super Bowl this year.
It could be.
And then they lose, but I think at the same time the way that Tom Brady, how pissed he was. Did you watch that game?
I did. Yeah.
That end of that game where he was bleep, like just screaming on the sidelines, all angry. I think he's not going to let them lose this week, and I think Patriots win and cover.
And the last one, the Monday Nighter in Lambeau, in Green Bay, Atlanta taking on the Packers. Are the Packers going to continue their domination of the NFC?
Green Bay favored by 12. Yeah, I think, I don't know about the 12. I feel like this could be, well, then again, there's not really a look-ahead week for the Packers because they don't play anybody until week 17 against the Lions. But I think Green Bay is going to win it. I think they'll cover it. I think they'll win by 14.
I'm gonna take the Falcons or the Green Bay by 6.5. Like I've said, I like what this Atlanta Falcons offense is doing right now. Green Bay earlier in the season, obviously their defense has picked it up of late, holding Tom Brady to just over 20 points. I think that this Green Bay defense is going to be a little bit, they're going to show some weaknesses, but I think the offense is going to get it done. And if the offense doesn't get it done, then that's just an off week. So I'm going to take Green Bay by 6.
All right. That about sums it up for today then. Like I said earlier, you can reach us in 3 different ways. One on Twitter at the JDFP, by emailing thejdfp@gmail.com, or by commenting on this video right here on YouTube, where we also kindly ask you to hit that like button and subscribe. For Mike and Justin, I'm Josh Dupuis. Thanks for listening.